Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? There we go. Give a tap. Tap. There you go. How have you guys been?
Good, how are you doing?
We're good. Good.
Just same old here.
Good. And usually that's how it goes?
That's how it goes, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
totally unannounced.
yeah.
Yeah, yes.
That's like the worst it'll ever be.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens when Kirby gets here?
She'll come up and she'll like jump and like get like right in your face, and I don't think she won't bite, but like she could.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. But it's the bark, and then, you know, usually she kind of sniff around, get used to you. If you went and sat down, probably.
That's how we do it usually.
Yeah, usually if like we have someone come in, the way it works best is like we'll come down, like greet that person. She'll see them walking up the stairs. We'll have them like sit on the bar stool or something and just like sit. And then if we let her off leash, she'll like sniff and doesn't care. But there are instances if like you're sitting on the couch for a while and you're the person who's not part of the fam, you get up to get a glass of water and she'll just like immediately be like, boom, come over, do the same growly thing, and then like chill again. But it's always a little bit.
Yeah, I remember, I think Jessie touched her rear and then she snapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like the only time she ever like bit. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna teach you guys the door exercise.
Okay.
Did Jessie send you a video or did I send you a video? Nothing?
Didn't get a video.
Okay, no worries. So the door exercise basically is, when someone knocks, it's not run, charge at the door, it's go somewhere, no words said, just making a habit.
Okay.
So this is a habit of barking and coming here, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna basically rewire that.
Yeah.
So what we need is like a boundary. We need a place or like a line where Kirby has to be behind, and it can't be like by the door, and she needs to stay in that area.
Okay.
So what would be?
So I guess the question is, does she want to be able to still see? Do you still want her to be able to see that person? And just like could it be over there? Like, let's say that, or like she really likes her like crate, and so like if we ever said go to her box, she just like goes and like lays in her crate, and that's in like a different room. So I don't know. It could be there, or it could be somewhere like completely separate.
Kirby sit. Kirby sit. Sit.
And then there's is that just one room back there, right?
No, we have like a room here.
Oh yeah, I mean at the end.
Oh, in the end, it's just one room.
Okay. And obviously your guests are in this area.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So it doesn't matter if Kirby sees the guests. With this new rule or this new behavior, technically Kirby would never meet the guests if the guests never go into Kirby's space.
Okay, so maybe it could just be like back there somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like just like this door right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only question I have though is just, and if it's a process, I can totally get it.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, we would aspire to have Kirby be able to like see and meet and like interact with the guests, right? Like, so I guess the only reason I say that is because if we get her like in her like crate area or back by the door, and she never like sees or meets the guest. Is there like another step where it's like, okay, well, this is how we're going to now introduce you to that guest?
So I guess if you want, we can make it just a different place. So we can do, because I know what you're trying to say, and if we allow her to come to the space, then she's doing the old habit of like, what's going on over here.
Yeah.
So if we teach her this, eventually she won't be barking at the door. It should just be turn off. So if right now, if I approach Kirby, she maybe would have bitten. Who knows? Maybe a little nibble, whatever, here and there. This exercise will cover all that. We're not correcting the barking or anything. We're correcting you
The
don't.
rhyme.
Yeah. So to make it easier, we can use this little like.
That little corner.
I was thinking like this whole like area right here.
Yeah.
She can go wherever she wants there. You can add a bed too if you want. It's up to you as long as you're consistent with it. If you want to change it up, just being consistent with it. But it needs to, it should be easy for you guys to kind of do it. So this would be easy because it's just like she only has one way in, one way out.
Yeah, that's true. So that's like it'd be easy. It's easier to block.
Yeah.
That way. So okay.
So we'll use this for now. So typically when you knock, Kirby comes to the door, right? So when Kirby's here, I'm gonna have, and this exercise is don't no words, nothing, just tapping. So when Kirby comes here, we're gonna tap until she like backs up. Once she backs up from like this area, we are going to come in front of her and face her, and we're gonna be moving into her.
Okay.
As she's moving backwards, there's no tapping going on. She's just moving backwards. If she doesn't want to, or like she kind of stops and she's like being, stubborn, we give a tap while moving to move her. And then as we go over here, let's say she finally goes over there, we back up, see what she does. She comes back around, we confront here, tapping to get her back there. She goes in the corner or something, then we move back to release the body pressure.
Yeah.
So again, because there's triggers, right?
Yep.
The knock is the first trigger.
Yep.
So let's say I knock, you come here, tap, 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 move her back. Then this is done with no grabbing the leash. The leash is just on the ground. And then you're moving, you get her over there, let's say, and then usually owners are just like this, like they're like watching the dog and they're like opening the door, right? The next trigger is turning around and addressing the door. As soon as you turn around, sometimes dogs are like, okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to turn around to see that, to correct it. So when we turn around, we're just being, hear her move or whatever. And then the next trigger is the touching of the doorknob, see?
Yeah.
So when that goes, we're gonna do a little exercise. When I'm out here, to do like 5, wiggle it, see what she does. If she gets up, confront her, give a tap, and then she should just like see that and sit. If not, same thing over again. So it's just taking your time with this.
Okay.
It might take a while. Doesn't matter, just being
consistent.
Yes. So then you come back. She stays there. Good. Next trigger, door opening. The next trigger, me coming in. So we're tackling all these things, all these triggers, one at a time. Any questions so far?
I think I'm good on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? And this is only a one-person exercise. You can't be in the middle of getting Kirby there while the other person gets the door because it's too much going on. So doing one thing at a time, so it's easier for one person to kind of do one thing.
Is she gonna if we get her, well, I guess we have, this is what we have the EPOD for, but I'm like, what if she gonna, and I don't know, I also don't want to charge at you.
Oh yeah, that's why I got the sleeve.
Okay, cool. I also feel like ultimately you smell like dogs and aren't afraid of her, and it's always the sense. I don't know.
Let's just.
Okay, you're right. You go first. I'll watch first.
Any questions?
I'm done.
Okay, so I'll, you can just when I leave, you can drop the leash.
Yeah.
And then just wait until I knock. Let her come here. Tap, tap, tap. Move her back. And then you're going to be here. And if you're using too much force, give a tap to help you out.
Yeah.
And just keep addressing it. If she goes over there, you confront her. Just keep following her. If she goes over there.
Am I trying to force her? Sorry, this is a good question.
Yeah.
We want her back here. This is where I want her, or is it just kind of anywhere in this area?
I say from the couch to this closet, or maybe behind the counter, just somewhere back there.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, the couch, just right here.
Yep. Okay. I got it.
Anything else?
No.
Cool. And then you guys don't have a doorbell or anything, right?
No.
Okay. It's just usually people just knock the door, or is this little thing right here?
It'll just be the door. Yeah.
Okay.
Just knock on the door.
I'm just a heads up. I'm gonna make it more dramatic.
Yep.
Because if we make this door entering thing crazy, then the regular door knock would be nothing for her in the future. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Cool. Now when I walk in, if she comes, you get in front of me and then you like face her.
Yep.
Good. Cool. How'd it go?
It was like, it's tough because she's like clearly on edge
Yeah.
right now.
Well, so she didn't come
She
to
didn't
the door.
move when you knocked.
Okay.
She just laid on
She
the
just
chair.
came to me and like knew that
Mhm.
like I was controlling the situation, so she didn't want to go do whatever.
Yeah.
So I brought her back here,
Mm-hmm.
told her to place.
No. No words, nothing.
Okay.
If we say place, we're doing obedience. We're doing behavior now. So it's like, place means stay there. She's physically there, but mentally she might not be. She'll be ready to lunge, whenever. So there's just no word said, no grabbing the leash, nothing. It's just moving, tap, 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 get her over there. Once she's just over there, then we move away. Let her she can go wherever she wants as long as she's behind this boundary.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
What else?
Okay. Okay.
Now we have tap tap in your back.
Well, not right now.
So there's no release because she will never meet the guest. Only if I enter the space. So go ahead here, face her. Wait, what's your number, by the way?
Our number?
Yeah, on the econ.
Oh, it's 75.
Is that how it usually is?
It's gotten like a lot higher lately, yeah.
What's like the normal?
It's mid 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, you can go down to 60 because it was pretty high up there.
Huh?
And then, so move into her, and then tap, 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 good, tap, 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 tap. Oh.
Never done that before.
So, come around, yep, there we go. Tap, move in, tap, 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 tap.
He doesn't know what to do.
Good, bump at 5,
What?
bump at 5. And then tap, tap, tap. Now move away. Good. So we're teaching her what to do, but we need to keep going in order to get there. If we stop tapping, she's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. So we need to keep going to get that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then we're at 65 right now?
Yeah, we are now.
Okay. And we were at 75? Let's go back to 75. 75 is good. So I'm gonna leave again. And then,
So before you leave, like, she's just there, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't need to release her from anything.
yeah. So I'm gonna leave again, and then you're gonna grab the leash and bring her out here and just let her chill for a little bit. I'll give like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'll knock. We'll see what she do. We'll see what she does when she's right here.
Yeah.
Whether lunge or just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna go somewhere else, depending on what she retains from this. This is not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be harder too if you're not having guests come over. I'm not sure what you guys are doing or whatever, but the more guests you have over, the faster you'll get it. The less guests, the longer it'll take.
And like, so the goal is like, while the guest's here, she stays in
Yes.
her space, and if you want to meet her, you'll go into the space.
Yes.
Okay. And then but there's no way to release her from this space. So like, what if we got to the point where we're like, oh, we can't release her, and sometimes we like go hang out on the deck because she doesn't care about any guests if we all go upstairs or we're outside,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, how do we?
That's fine.
And
If
it's
you're
also,
just
it's also fine to like just be like, just like, so she can learn this. She needs to know that she's gonna stay here while
Mhm.
guests are over, and then if we figure out something way in the future, like let her then just come and do whatever she can.
it depends on the dog, really.
Yeah.
If you notice she's fine now, because this is addressing everything,
Yeah.
basically,
Yep.
So in the long run, if someone knocks and she's fine, cool with it, you can have that. If you're gonna go outside, you can absolutely release her. Doesn't matter. But it's just like kind of for now. Let's see what this gets us.
Yes.
With guests coming in. And like you said, guests can meet her when they go into her space. I don't really remember how Kirby is. If she's comfortable with people just like coming to her into her space and like being all sweet or whatever.
It depends. Depends on the day.
The day?
I would say.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that up to you guys, what you think would be a good idea for what the guests to do and everything. But this is how it should be for now, until it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you start to see a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if the dog is super aggressive, to the point where, like, you know, when we walk in, they bite, they shake, they do the whole thing, then we address the biting first, then the door exercise. If it's nothing, we do the door exercise, and then the whole biting, barking thing just goes away, because we already done the behavior work of, you don't, this is my guest,
Yep.
you stay over there, and don't worry about this guy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And when we do a word, like I said, she's physically over there, yeah, because she said place, go over there, but mentally, she's still like,
Very nervous.
yes, exactly. Any other questions?
I guess I was thinking, I'm going to get off to it. It's like, I'm sure people can do what we want. Having, there's the door exercise, right? And like, say it's like out of town guests, like they're staying here, like they're going to be putting their stuff in a room, they're going to want like, is that just like a whole different exercise on how to then like, because obviously she can't just like stay back there for like a whole weekend.
When they come in, you can do this. Maybe towards the end of the day, if they want to meet Kirby, they can meet Kirby, see how it goes. And then, you know, when she's ready or when you think she's settled, you can bring her out. But then being mindful of the getting up and like the nervousness. Yeah. But I mean, as long as you're on top of that, like right here, when you were correcting her, that was really good, because she settled really well. There's still grumbling and everything, but overall, she's fine now. So it's just kind of playing it by ear. You would do this when a guest walks in.
Which is the hardest part.
And then once this has been completed, she's finally kind of relaxed. And then you can see from there if they're staying here. Have you ever had a guest stay here before when she's been?
Yeah, we had this weekend.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
It went really well. I thought. Again, I told you how we like introed her, and then like Kirby watched her walk in. There was some like grumblings, but yeah, it's ultimately like I let that person come in first and be like I like let them in. So Kirby sees it. They like establish where they are, and then Kirby's free to like meet them. It was fine. There's always like a couple like grumblings in the morning when that person like wakes up, but it's never been an issue. The only issue is when someone walks in and she's surprised by it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is always a little bit like we have to be on top of it. For sure.
Yeah. And then what do you do about the grumbling? Do you guys tap her, or you just kind of see where that grumbling leads to?
I think we try to tap her. Sometimes we haven't, because it just is like it's a quick sniff, and then she doesn't care anymore. If that makes sense. Like, and
then she grumbles while she's sniffing?
No.
When's the grumbling happening?
So like, I was just like in here morning, Kirby has 51st dates, forgets that someone has been here the whole night. So they walk out, she immediately would be like, run over with a little grumbling. And then once she got here, like that person usually just like stops, and like the grumbling stops once Kirby gets here. It's like just the grumbling of like, I see that person, let me like sniff them and remember who they are. And then she stops any grumbling and doesn't care. Okay.
Start correcting that.
Yeah.
Have you tried correcting it?
Yeah,
I have, yeah.
And then
before.
And then what happens when you tap?
She gets nervous.
I mean, she does. Like,
she just doesn't
what she
when
did
she comes
earlier,
to us.
like, which is why, like, you know, when I was tapping and correcting her earlier, like, when you first walked in and she was like barking or whatever. Yeah. And then usually what happens is like you left, then you came back and knocked on the door, and because I had been correcting her, she doesn't react. She doesn't go to the door. She's just like stuck like a Velcro dog on my leg because she doesn't really know what like she's supposed to do, and obviously just trying to avoid getting corrected. So like that's usually what happens. Like you correct her, and she's okay. Like, what do you want? You know, I fucked up, I don't really know exactly what you want me to do, so I'm just going to like stick to you like glue and, you know, let you know that like I'm trying really hard to not do anything wrong.
Yeah, and then what are you doing when she's here? What do you usually do? Just.
I mean, eventually I try and say like, okay, like, you know, I try to like kind of release, like, not release her totally, but just be like, okay, like, you know, you don't need to be here.
Yeah. Do you ever like pet her sometimes, or?
No, I will initially. Yeah, I mean, if it's like a calm down sort of thing, I try to do that. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but I think it's. I don't really think about it. I guess it's more natural. It's like she's like right here, or like I'm sitting down, she's like, you know, on my chest or like all over me. It's like, yeah, I'll like rub her, pet her, or whatever.
Okay. Stop petting her.
Okay.
Because when you tap her and she comes to you and you pet her, she's thinking, oh, you called me.
Yeah.
And then now you're rewarding me. I had to come to you. That's all I had to do. She's not associating this
the other
now.
person or the other thing. Yeah.
And then another thing you're doing is, you should be scared. I approve of this. Be like this.
Yeah.
So stop the petting and just ignore her. If she comes to you, she comes to you, whatever. Just, I wouldn't say okay or anything, just ignore her. Just so she can start associating the two, the correction for the person. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And I know it's impulse. It's you know, all the owners do it. It's just impulse. Like, you know, I know the goal. They all have the same goal, just to settle the dog. But it doesn't transfer like that to Kirby.
Makes sense.
And this would also help. So let's say she's here, right? You see her lunge. I just cut in front of her, tap, 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 get her over there, instead of tapping over. Like, I can tap to disengage, and let's say you're over there, right?
Yeah.
I would just keep going, tapping until she goes over there, so she knows, like, you know, not me, go over there, leave everyone alone, you know? So you can do one, tap, see what she does, she goes to you, ignore her, or two, bring her somewhere over there with the e-collar. Does that make sense?
Yep.
What else? That's all she'll really try with the guests, is just out of nowhere, she'll just like, well, not out of nowhere, but like, when they do something, she just goes and checks them out.
Yep.
And then she just kind of leaves them alone.
Yeah,
Okay.
leaves them alone, doesn't really
Okay.
care.
Um, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk out again. When I leave, you can bring her here.
So you'll knock,
Yeah.
and then we'll like tap or move.
Yeah.
Tap
If you want
or
to give
back.
it, if you want to give it a try this time, you can.
Yeah, I will, just so I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Knock, tap her, move her back, and then I'll leave her and I'll go open the door and I'll rattle the knob and we'll open the door and then we'll see what she does. If she does, expect turn around and tap her. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
The forward pressure is like I'm addressing you, and then you move back, you're releasing it, and then when you give her side, you're completely releasing it, and then when you back, it's like you're like gone basically to dogs. I'll leave the camera here just so, because it's gonna look. I mean, the video, it's just like just in case something happens or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything?
Nope.
No. So you can bring her out.
Okay.
Let's go.
Come on. Just kind of ignore her.
here. See what she does. Good. Hello, how are you?
Hey.
Saying what, like, sometimes.
Yeah, just how it is.
Yeah. Good. The panting is good. But I remember that sit, the awkward, like.
Her awkward, like, very just like.
Yeah. How'd it go?
It was good.
Okay.
She was definitely startled by the door knock again. She wasn't super relaxed, obviously, but I still kind of had to like push her with my knees, like she did not want to move.
Yeah.
But then once I got here,
Yeah.
she just like jumped over there and like knew like I'm gonna go back here. So it felt like she was getting something.
Yeah. Anything else that triggers her that would make you think that would make her react or?
I think that's the big one, and then again like the sitting up. I mean, you've also stayed there, and like I don't know if you like walked over. Is she gonna stay there? Like,
oh yeah, I can like experiment, like walk into her area, see what she does.
Yeah.
If I like. I disappear for a little bit sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't like where you going or like.
Oh yeah, because if you run, if you go back there, she might like just like.
Go back there and like go into like the bathroom just for a moment, like
Okay.
shut the door, and then like come back out in 30 seconds, like open the door and walk back in.
Okay.
Any of those doors. There's a bathroom on your right.
Any of them. Yeah.
That works. Yeah, whatever. She's also confused because she's like, why are you guys standing up?
Yeah.
We should tell Ryan to start knocking.
Yeah.
That's what.
Is that long enough or?
I think so. I think she's just kind of like knows like to not do anything.
Good.
Somehow.
So we're gonna do now.
Okay.
Just a little touch work here. So go ahead, go by Kirby, and then just step on the leash.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you when to tap. Don't tap unless I say.
Okay.
Good. Tap. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Wait.
I know I'm like nervous.
No, you're fine. Tap. Wait. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. Tap. Good. 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 I'm gonna relax a little bit the leash. So don't get there you go. So it's not tense.
Yeah.
You see how that worked?
Yeah,
She's
wow.
still thinking about it.
She's still very like.
Good. So yeah,
Wow.
it wasn't nothing serious. There was a little shake.
Okay.
But it
Yeah, I
was-
saw.
Yeah, no. So here, the brain is resetting here. So we're probably gonna come back in, show that again.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, and is it just because she's just like, well, it's like irritating and like.
Yeah, dogs don't know that this is something else. Whatever's connected to me, they think it's me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I go right to the face.
Which is like the worst.
Yeah, exactly. So if we can get the face done, then.
Okay.
I should have recorded that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, because it's just good for
Yeah.
educational,
For sure. Is the licking thing like?
The licking right now.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stress. No, you're good.
Okay.
You can correct that. Give it a tap. Good. See what she does.
I'm trying to ignore her.
Good.
Oh, she did her thing, didn't she?
What?
smell her glands with the stress.
Oh,
Does
she
that
released her
happen?
anal glands?
Yeah, I can smell it. I'm like, what's that smell? And I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, I smell it now.
I guess that's, yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
That's fine. She just licked it up. That's pretty disgusting. Oh, well, dogs
Oh, that's what she was. Okay, I see now.
Well, because I was like, what's on the floor? Okay, well, we'll get that smell eventually.
Any questions so far?
Nope.
And then we'll just do it one more time, see what she's retained. But it's just, instead of, so there we go. That's what we want.
Is that relaxing, or is that just stressing?
It's stress, but she's releasing it because dogs release through their mouth.
Yeah.
And she was panting for a little bit here, but then she was just holding it in.
Yeah.
So another way to release stress is through this.
Right. Yep.
But if we're not correcting, they're getting away with it and they're releasing it like yeah, I bit him and he went away.
Yeah.
But if I'm staying here and we're correcting, she's like, okay, he's not doing anything bad to me. Because then when we're done correcting, she doesn't bite. I'm still here. I'm just petting her and I'm just touching her. Then she's realizing, okay,
this is gonna happen.
Nothing bad is happening. It's just my decision to bite. So that one last time she was just kind of like this, just like holding herself. That's avoidance. You mentioned before she's avoiding the person. Where she got tapped, she's avoiding it to come to you.
Yeah.
So same thing here. She's kind of avoiding.
Is that what she's doing right now? Where she's just like, I'm not gonna completely turning away. Okay. Oh, I feel so bad. Well, I don't feel that bad. You gotta fix it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. You'll step on the leash.
I'm like nervous she's gonna get to me, which sounds sad, but.
Good. And then what's your number?
Oh, it's at 80 right now.
80, okay. Good. A lot better. Good. Dogs thrive on repetition, so if I just stay there for a long time, it's just, you're stuck in that moment, so if it breaks,
You
let
can
the
give her a
brain
break
reset.
and hopefully she'll just yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, so hopefully she'll pant again, or some of it will relax.
Yeah.
Her.
What time is it?
Because I guess that's kind of how it is when we're walking too.
What do you mean?
Or not that's how it is, but I meant when we see
Fighting people?
No, oh my god, no. No, when we're walking, she's doing a good job, but then it's from far away, you see the little dog, and I see her when she's panting, as we're walking, when it's hot out, and then she'll stop and close her mouth, and I feel that's how I know when I'm oh, why? I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a sign of tension. We'll do a little socialization exercise where we're walking around the dog, and dogs usually get most uncomfortable when they're confronting, walking towards each other, or when they're behind them. So the dog will be panting, and then they come behind, and they're like this, and then because they can see the dog now, And then some lip licking here and there.
Hi.
But yeah, she was just when I came the second time, she didn't growl, she didn't do anything, but she was still very tense.
Yes.
And then there's some more panting, which is good. So it's good. She's releasing it. Yeah, she's licking it again.
I feel that's her my mom was the one who first pointed it out. Who was does she have a nervous tick?
Of licking?
Licking her butt, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's when she's stressed, I think.
Yeah, sometimes dogs will I think there was a golden that would rip her hair out of her ear, and she just rip it out when she gets anxious.
Oh.
Yeah. So then you can correct those. If you know that is a stress response, I start correcting it to knock the brain out of being stuck.
Okay.
So for example, in the kennel, if a dog is salivating, they're stuck and they're just drooling and panting, we correct it
snap out of it.
Yeah, we clean it up here, just get rid of the mess, and then 5 minutes later just fall asleep because we're snapping the brain
out of it,
out of this stress mode. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can correct for that.
Okay.
If you know her what she does when she's stressed, address it.
Okay.
Just so to not get her stuck in that mode.
Right. Okay.
Because it can be unhealthy. What else? Anything else? So it's just, I mean, I didn't expect all that. I just expected like little like what we saw at Oz Park where she was just like
Gonna grab.
like grab, and then like I think she just grabbed it real quick, right? It's like
She did,
like
yeah.
piano biting or whatever. Yeah.
I think, I mean, she's, and you probably say this is normal, maybe, like she's always better outside.
Oh, okay.
Like meeting other people outside, it's like we're cool, whatever. It's like just the inside.
Yeah, I mean specifically here, like this living room, like this is her like spot, and this is
just this whole area.
Yeah, it's like she's for sure the most easily like triggered or provoked
in here. So to me, I'm like, I'm not surprised when you're like, I didn't expect that much. I'm like, well, I expect more than the park, just because
territorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, her home and everything. So I'll do one more, and then we'll just give this exercise a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
She shows all the emotion though in her eyes.
Let's see what this growl leads to.
Okay.
Good, she's done. Close again. Tap. Good. Good. You see how what that tap
Yeah, you
did?
snapped out of it.
So, if we correct every single growl, we're not seeing where it leads us because we need to see. Okay, she's growling. But what is she gonna? Is she gonna keep growling, or is she just then? Because sometimes we have a dog named Doug, and he was a growler, and Jesse would correct the growling if it was too long, because then they're in the moment. Because like right there, that was too long. You saw how she was postured and everything.
Yeah.
Growling, and then one tap got her to go like this. Now if she went like that and did a grumble like, and then nothing else after, then that's good. She retained like, okay, whatever. So yeah, that's good that we got that. And I'm glad you guys saw that you can correct the growling, what to see, what to look for. I don't recommend you guys do this with guests or anything. I mean, unless you have her muzzled. I'm not sure if she's muzzle trained or anything, if you want to work on it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like...
She hasn't worn it in a while, which is why I'm like, I feel like that would already be a stress.
We did do like muscle training work through some of the Jesse videos.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay. So if you know someone who's up for this and doesn't care, you can try it. Just have a person come to her space, see what she does, hear the growling, see where it goes. If it's too long and too much, just correct it, and then she'll settle. What else? Any questions? And I'm not saying practice this. Just if.
Oh yeah. Well, the problem is anyone who'd be comfortable doing it is someone who she doesn't care when they. There's like 5 people who walk into this apartment and she like is like, oh hey, love you, like friend, family. She like knows.
Yeah. Sometimes, like when we're doing this exercise with a dog who is straight up, crazy, like I'll move and then they're grabbing my leg and shaking. I couldn't even walk. I had a bite, so I couldn't even walk anywhere because he was just going after me.
Holy shit.
When his friends come over, she used to be the same way, but since she completely hates me and knows all this, when I leave she's relaxed, but when the friends come over she was perfectly fine now. Like she changed.
Interesting.
So if she's like this with me, that's normal.
Yeah.
But then I need to like give pressure bring it out so we can correct it. So then when someone comes, you can kind of work with it, see the signs and everything, and then she's like, okay, like I know this person already, so it wouldn't be that much work. But she doesn't really, she kind of knows me, but she doesn't know me like this, like, oh, you're in my house now,
Yes.
Does that make sense?
So I think, and so we'll do this with people who come over or people she's not going to react to, but I think the end goal also is to still have her over here when they come in. So even if it's not like, it's correcting also, like, even this is like an okay greeting. I mean, she's still, if the door opens, she would still probably growl and run to the door regardless, so it is, I think, going to fix that.
So if the door opens and she goes, we close it and address it. So we're only opening the door if she's here, and do your best to have like the guests like let you know, and then you go open the door instead of just them coming in.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to say now forever, like don't just walk in. Just
exactly.
let
Yeah.
us open it.
And then, you know, call her up 30 minutes prior, leash her up. You hear the knock, address it, touch the doorknob, do everything we're doing today. Let the guests in, you know, they can be themselves, whatever. You don't have to tell them to, you know, be quiet, and just let them be themselves so that you can see what she does. What else? I think that is all, unless you guys have any questions. We can do more door exercise if you want, or...
I feel like if she has a minute, we could like do another one just like to do another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think she's probably have one more in her. I feel like she's
So here...
mentally pretty drained.
I know, we're gonna...
Okay. Does she hear people walking, or what does she do?
She will, I mean, I don't know if that was hearing some people, because she will growl. She hears a bark from, I mean, you can hear outside, right?
Yeah.
So she hears like, sometimes the little girl downstairs will like, a kid, so she'll like, you know, scream or like something. She'll growl at that. She'll growl when she hears one of the dogs downstairs like bark too.
Okay.
So I guess that's correctable.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be very generous. Do you guys have the e-collar all day, or I know you don't need it, but I was just wondering.
I mean, it's on most of the time, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just depends.
Okay. Yeah, I'd correct that. Any growling, any barking. Obviously, you want if you want to keep the security, like the barking when like someone passes by. That's your house rules. If you want to.
Oh, I don't like mind. I don't mind that. Or sorry, I don't mind eliminating it. Like, if that's gonna make it like better, that's gonna help us. But also, I guess the other question is like, we talk about like dogs have to release it somehow. So like, is she just gonna find another way? Because the last thing I want is for like the growling to go away, because she knows it's gonna be corrected, and then like someday randomly she just like doesn't even growl and just like, well, I guess we would see it because we like know how she reacts. Like just like no growl, just like bite someone like.
There's always signals. Always signals. So.
Okay.
There you even said she was. I don't know what you said. You said something about her being awkward. Like there's a signal right there.
Right.
When I come in, there's a signal like, okay, probably don't confront her right now because she's in her space. She's growling. The shaking when I come near her.
Yeah.
And then when I move back, she's eyeing me right now. But then usually we'll get like the panting immediately, or like some type of like, okay, whatever, like that, you know.
Yeah.
So just reading the signals, because like I said, there's always a sign. There's always something before it happens. If there's no sign, that means we've missed a few signs before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like you said, like, you know, she sees a dog, she gets tense. No, it's not addressed. Another dog, she gets more tense. So now she's at a 2 here, a 3, a 4, and then the squirrel runs by, and then she's like, bam, like just chasing the squirrel. No,
Yeah.
like, what? You never chase squirrels, but it's because we've ignored these other signals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we do. And we do chase squirrels, definitely. That's the one.
Anything else?
I think that was, yeah.
Good. You'll bring her out again.
Okay.
And I'll give you a little more time just to see what she'll do.
Okay.
I'll knock. You're gonna bring her here, and then I'm gonna come straight into her space again.
Okay.
And then we can cap it there if you like. What time is it? Sorry.
5:42.
Yeah, 5:42.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about or do. Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Cool. Maybe she'll panic again. Let me make sure the door closes.
Yeah.
The leash, that's why.
Kirby.
Let me clean up this real quick. It's gonna bother me.
I'll wipe it down. She needs to be ready for the door.
What was this?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Hello. How'd that go?
It was hard because she ran. We let her out. She ran to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I pull her out. You knock, and I had to kind of pull her out from under the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to get her over here. But then once she was over here, she just kept jumping and just kept trying to go to the couch, like her little spot there. We got here. She doesn't go back here. She jumped on the couch, so I had to like grab the leash and kind of like pull her over here as I'm tapping. And now that's where she is.
Cool. Yeah, you did everything right. Using a leash, you have to use a leash for those situations, basically, because you can't. I mean, unless you're dedicated, you want to get on the couch and do that. But
No.
you can use a leash to bring her up while tapping. When she's off, and you kind of guide her, and then
Walk.
you can. Yeah, exactly. So let's see right here. Okay. Okay, so nothing bad happened to her. She's
Yeah.
like, oh,
She's like,
okay, that's it. But good. Door exercise, I'm glad that happened so that we can talk about it, just seeing if you do everything right. I'm glad that she was able to retain, what's been going on with the touching and everything. That wasn't like a priority for the day, but then it happened to be like, okay, let's address this now.
Yeah, definitely.
In the moment, if I went straight to you when you were here with her, it probably would have been maybe a little bit visually worse.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see what this can cover, and then this exercise kind of makes that exercise more easier.
Yeah.
If the biting and the aggression or the territorialness isn't that bad, it'll make it that more easier.
Okay.
Anything else? Any questions?
Oh, I did have one. Okay, so normal time, someone's gonna come over and knock on the door. Maybe she's not right here. She's not here. Maybe she's like back there or something. Like, is the ultimate goal for her to hear the knock and like go back here?
Sometimes it happens.
Or like, am I gonna be like, oh, door? They'll wait. Let me like drag her out and like do the beeping exercise over from wherever she was, just like hanging out.
So it's like.
Well, I guess she'll run to the door is the thing. So.
Yeah. So if she runs to the door, then you do it. If she stays there, this is the new boundary now. If like this guest is not, let's just like some guy who's here for like a work job, then it's like, okay, now you have to stay there since you're over there. Since you stay there, so this would be the new boundary. If she runs to the door, that's the boundary. But if you're in a situation where like someone needs to be back there, and then you're like, I don't want to risk it, you can pull her back out, and then here I would bring her here, then tap, 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 and let her just like go over there or whatever. Do her own thing. Anything else? Does that answer your question?
That does answer my question, yeah. Which is like just whatever the boundary needs to be, she'll figure like she gets the idea.
It's whatever like also is like in the moment, it's like, okay, this realistically wouldn't work, so I'm just gonna do this for now just to get through it or whatever, That's all. And then for the barking, if you want to eliminate, you wouldn't. So there's control and elimination. For control, you use a word, so it'd be like no or enough, consequence. If you want to eliminate, no word, it's just consequence, because then she will bark until she hears enough or no or whatever.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.